I've always been interested in seeing the effects of fields where I live and wondered whether they were always part of the picture. And then I discovered ridge and furrows. What you see here is the bit of the ridge and furrow down the field with the Enclosure Act hedge which goes down the centre of the field.
What, in your view, drove the enclosure movement?
There was a move to have advanced farming, progressive farming. There was the Industrial Revolution, allowed new machinery to come online. And one of them was the threshing machines, which appeared in Little Milton, in Mr. Wells's farm. And people in the neighbouring villages didn't like this. And they proceeded, people from Chiselhampton and Stathampton and somewhere else, proceeded to riot and destroy Mr. Wells's threshing machines. And this was in 1830. And they were hauled up before the beak, and 6 of them, I think, were transported to Australia.
What stands out as the most dramatic effect of enclosures?
The obvious dramatic effect on the field system was the introduction of hedges, because each new landowner had to enclose his field, his or her field, with a hedge or other sort of fencing. And that was very, very costly, particularly for the person who had a very small acreage. So we began to see, rather than open fields, huge areas which were enclosed with hedges. In contrast to the parish's attitude from the 1830 riot in Little Milton, only 40 years later, in 1870, there was so much unemployment that there was surplus population in Great Milton that the wealthier people in Great Milton raised about £50 to help people emigrate to Canada, where there was free railway transport promised, as well as employment. So it helped a number of people emigrate to Canada. In 1834, the Poor Act came in to force, which was a huge change because it pushed the responsibility for poor relief from the parishes to the government. And in 1836, the Tame workhouse was built. There had been a workhouse there before. It must have been pretty grim living in this workhouse, living in any workhouse in the 1800s. This one was built in 1836. I wonder what it could have been like working there. I think conditions would have been very cold, drafty, and the food was probably pretty disgusting. What surprised me in my research was that in Great Milton there was no hint of any local protest. In the country as a whole, the process was deeply resented by the poor rural population. And in one 17th century rhyme, there was the rhyme which went, "They hang the man and flog the woman that steals the goose from off the common, but leave the greater criminal loose that steals the common from off the goose."